What's up guys, my name is Fran and once again welcome back. So Thunderbolt 3 is a fairly new technology, and because of that there aren't a lot of devices that are actually taking advantage of this new technology. In particular, I'm talking about storage. So of course there are a handful of companies such as LaCie, Rocket Store, and my personal favorite, Promise with their Pegasus lineup, that are creating external drives that are utilizing Thunderbolt 3, but those can be kind of costly. I mean, a 4-bay Promise Pegasus enclosure can actually cost upwards of $1,500. So naturally, with me looking for a cheaper solution to an expensive problem, I decided to scour the internet as I always do, and I came across this device. This is the Akitio Quad. The Akitio Quad is an external 4-bay Thunderbolt 3 hard drive enclosure. It gives you the ability to either install 4 3.5-inch drives or 4 2.5-inch drives. Now I think this is great versatility considering that you can install now some high-capacity regular spindle hard drives, and then in the future when the price of SSDs comes down, you can upgrade to high-capacity SSDs. Okay, so let's take a look at the Akitio Quad. Under the front panel, you'll find 4 hard drive bays, all being labeled A, B, C, and D. And then looking at the back, you'll find 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, one being used as the primary while the other can be used as a pass-through, because as you may or may not know, you can daisy chain multiple Thunderbolt 3 devices. Then you're also going to find a display port if you want to hook up a display through this device, and then also some weird proprietary power port. Now taking a look at the top of the Akitio Quad, you will find a handle. Now while I do think this is a bit of a weird design choice, it does make it a little bit easier to move the Akitio Quad from one point to another, as when you fill it up with some heavy spindle drives, the entire unit can be quite heavy. But by no means do I think they actually want you to use this as a portable external hard drive, just the easier way to carry it around. So by now you've got to be asking yourself, how does the Akitio Quad perform? So for my testing, I'll actually be using 2 sets of hard drives. One setup will actually be with 4 3TB 7200 RPM spindle hard drives, while the other will be conducted with 4 256GB Samsung Pro SSDs. Oh, but right before I begin my testing, I did want to talk about the actual RAIDs themselves. I'll be doing all of my testing on RAID 0. Now I know this isn't the most practical, and it would be better to have a single drive full. I did want to show the maximum performance that's capable out of this hard drive. The other thing that I'll be using is Apple software RAID. Now once again, I know that's not going to be a hardware RAID of some of the competitive devices, and there are better other software RAIDs out there, but this is just the one I had available at the time of testing this device. So to kick off some of our testing, we'll actually be doing a real-world file transfer. I'll be moving a 25GB folder that consists of a bunch of 4K files over to the external medium. So as you can see, coming out of the spindle hard drive, I was getting anywhere from about 500 to 600 megabytes per second, while looking at the SSD RAID, I was able to reach about 1.5 gigabytes per second, which is a major performance increase. So next I decided to do some testing of the disk speed with the Blackmagic disk speed test application. Here we saw very good speeds coming out of both the SSDs as well as the spindle hard drives, with of course the SSDs having a leg up over the spindles. Next I ran the AJA or AJA speed test, and here we saw a bigger discrepancy between the SSDs and the spindle drives. While the spindle drives again were no slouch at 700 megabytes per second, the SSDs were just sort of blowing out of the water when it came to both reads and writes. Okay, so the Akitio Quad is a really fast external hard drive enclosure, and if you equip it with SSDs, it's an even faster external hard drive enclosure. But at the time of recording this video, it's probably more practical to stick with spindle hard drives, as a decently sized SSD is probably going to cost you around the neighborhood of $1,500, and at that point I think you're probably better off investing your money elsewhere. But at a $339 price tag, is the Akitio Quad even worth sticking spindle hard drives in there? And I think that sort of depends. I think if you have the drive sort of lying around maybe your lab or the house and they're just available to you, then yeah, sure, it's probably a really great buy. But considering that it doesn't actually have a hardware RAID controller, at least to the best of my knowledge, and you're going to be using software RAID, this can sort of create some issues in the future with, consistency in data, and also just hardware RAIDs are just better. They're a self-contained environment, and that's why I favor the Promise Pegasus so much, because it does have its own hardware dedicated RAID. But if you're okay with having a software RAID and possibly losing some data, then I think that the Akitio Quad can actually be a decent purchase. I guess if you think about it, one really good use for the Akitio Quad could actually be temporary storage for something like video editing before you move it up to an archive server. But in all honesty, if your data is that important, I probably would look elsewhere. You might even benefit a little bit more from just using a standard USB-C 3.1 hard drive. Okay, so what do you guys think about the Akitio Quad? Do me a favor, let me know in the comment section below. Also, while you're down there, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, slam on that like button. And if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe right now for some more awesome content in the future. Once again, guys, my name is Fran. Thanks so much for checking out this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.